It's time now for the Peter Channel News Report on this Thursday afternoon, June 9th, 2016. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Peter Wiggins. I have 12 news headlines, and our top story at 12 on this Thursday afternoon is Bernie Sanders arrived in Washington on Thursday for a high-profile meetings and a rally with his presidential campaign flagging up, but determined to exit the Democratic race against Hillary Clinton on his own terms. Two suspects were victims of the fight in Tel Aviv terror attack. Typically, students who do well are celebrated, but Marilyn Lady in Texas recently learned that isn't all its case, reports the Daily Mail. It is an earnest of legitimate question. It's an answer is the same as he perceives the textbook definition of racist in which Donald Trump refuses to apologize for. What would it take for Paul Ryan to withdraw his endorsement? The reality is that sexual violence are so staggering that they often reduce the numbers. His state is always hosting a Republican convention this week, just about 40 days back. Governor John Kasich of Ohio told Fox News he's absolutely prepared to go to Cleveland and endorsing the presidential nominee Donald Trump. The African Union Force in Somalia says soldiers killed more than one al-Shabaab militants who attacked the military base on Thursday. Baghdad. Iraqi officials say the death toll from two suicide bombings claimed by the Islamic State group has risen to 30 people. A woman in Illinois was forced to choose between killing and fetus to return. Knowing that it would not survive, a second an abortion in the bud was subject to discrimination and cruel, humane, and degraded treatment as a result of Ireland. Former PM say unity and second EU referendum Scottish independence could be irresponsible pro-life. Northern Ireland minister says commence irresponsible. Ankara, Turkey. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said Ankara is prepared to retaliate measures for Germany's resolution declaring Turkey is responsible for genocide. Vienna, a senior U.S. diplomat in Vienna, said continued operations at North Korea Yongbyon nuclear complex pose a serious threat to the peace and stability. Seoul, North Korea is at the hold of the 4th meeting of the 13th Supreme People's Assembly. Rome, Italian reporters are investigating a linkage to the Brownman and was arrested as part of a far-reaching human smuggling probe. Cooper Township, Michigan, they call themselves the Chain Gang, a group of basketball trying to give up by zest for sport, physical fitness, and love outdoors who take treatment in southwestern Michigan countryside and tragically. The New Jersey Supreme Court delivered a victory on Thursday to Governor Christie and ruled that state does not owe public pensions that cost of living payments suspended under a 2011 law. A divided Supreme Court decided Thursday that judges must recuse themselves from the case in which they laid a significant previous role in the prosecution of the person before them. That's in Michigan. The Michigan legislature early put a $617 million bailout and restructured to trade Stedford School District early Thursday, 2 years after the state spent less than a third of that amount to help the city government. Now, Donald Trump is hosting a gathering of top GOP donors at Trump Tower in New York, winning the first attempt at a wound in his party's wealthiest supporters. Ramsey, New Jersey. One person was killed Thursday morning in Ramsey, New Jersey, after being struck by a New Jersey transit train services on a main line have been partially resumed. Los Angeles. There will now be a Republican and on the ballot when in California cast votes in November's U.S. Senate. Contestants said two Democrats will face off. Washington. Hillary Clinton said that there is no basis for a criminal indictment and an ongoing investigation into her use of the private email server while Secretary of State. Billings, Montana. Yellowstone National Park Rangers suspended has searched for the body of Colin defendants caught who found in the hot springs of the North Glacier Basin. Washington, the number of Americans found new applications for jobless benefits declined last week as layoffs remain influenced by the recent slowdown in hiring. Paris and French court fined Uber Technologies $970,000 on Thursday for running legal transport service with non-professional drivers and slapped some fines of two, where there's exact for the first criminal cases. The United States markets were trading low and early traded on Thursday as the market pulled back. After 3 days of gains, materials and energy companies were among the biggest losers. Those sectors that posted small gains. Earlier this week, Asian shares more low despite U.S. stock team up. The stock market report coming up in a couple of minutes. Background international report Israel. What about Rebuttal 8. New heavy-duty Amen ground vehicle for combat support from Israel Aerospace Industries is making its debut next week. Moscow, Russia's Admiral Grigorich Brigade, the first in the class, arrived at a permanent station in the Sevastopol naval base. Copenhagen. Denmark Parliament has approved the purchase of choice of Lockheed Martin F-35 fighter to replace the country's F-16 aircraft. New York, the Brazilian crude oil prices lost steam Thursday as markets pulled back to assess the short-term managers that may be driving some of recent momentum. In Mansfield, local news. No fear, burger fans, the Baconator will be back. Wednesdays, that town's only fast food burger joint closed early this week, spotted consideration about local quick eats consumers. Town manager Bill Ross said they see the number of questions about by these showed that the restaurant's absence is temporary. Ross said the restaurant chain that's taken out purpose to access build and construct a new restaurant lab when companies do look for its restaurants. The plan reportedly includes new landscaping and additional outdoor space seating. Fencer went about the restaurant at Copeland Drive on Tuesday as the company prepares for demolition. Boston Aaron Hernandez is hired the lawyer who famously won acquittal for his photobomb case the NFA representative is uncovered a double murder trial. Renton firefighters are being credited with helping save lives at 7 dogs at a dog show held last weekend at Cracker Barrel Fairgrounds at the Westford Development Center. It's easy to think that evolution and the led evolution modern humans of clever names, but there were some strange incursions along the way. Apple 2957 is a member of cluster galaxies and 1 billion light years away. The center of the cluster is spot in the middle of the cell nursery is one of its galaxy's universe. Branches types of gene-driven and neutronian attention to potential to help the critical health issues such as muscular disease and environmental concerns such as agriculture pests and invasive species. Meet Nerman, Musqueam, Tennessee, and organization numerous elements on the periodic table to receive names. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, in partnership with international regulatory and law enforcement agencies, announced that it took action of the week against 4,042 websites that legally sell potentially dangerous and improved prescription drugs. California patients and doctors wrestled with suicide. The most recent outbreak in the library is over, with the World Health Organization said Thursday. They get some good news that the fourth time the organization has declared an outbreak over the library, given how contagious Ebola is. In a motion Facebook post, Leslie Mills details the trouble about growing up overweight and the important lesson she's come to learn about loving her body today for the first time. Mills 21 is a part owner of the Bikini Fitness published. California's new smoking age law goes into effect today. The law raises the age to buy tobacco products in the Golden State from age 18 to 21. Boston, a new report calls an independent massive debate transmitted for the retirement fund and spent the luxury to workers and Massachusetts taxpayers. Finally, a conservative leaning think tank estimated that Thursday that the fund values would have been about $900 million higher in 2014 and been managed by the State Employees Pension Fund. The report says the added pension costs have been borne by the financial MBTA, which is subsidized by the state. Peabody, Massachusetts, a group of Massachusetts firefighters has earned a high praise for the born on the lawn of an ailing World War II veteran who was more concerned about his landscape than his own health. Take a look at the stocks. Dow 83.45.79, 21.68. SP 5 down 9.69 points at 29.43. And Nasdaq down 25.32 points at 4,945.32. DAX down 120.60 points at 10,088.87. FTSE down 6.6 points at 6,221.89. And CSE 43.12 points down to 44.5.61. Asian markets, Nikkei down 162.51 points, 16,668.41. At Shanghai down 35 points down to 29.26.70. HSI down 3.36 points at 297.88. Oil markets down 72 cents at 50.51. Brent 51.87 at down 64 cents. And natural gas 2.61 up 142,000 points. Gold markets up 10 and 12, 72.30. Silver up 245,000 at 17.26. And copper down 335,000 points at 2.028. Bonds. US 10 yield down 1,000 points at 1.61764. Bond 10 yield down 3,000 points at 0.034%. And Japanese 10 yield down 18,000 points at 0.138. FX European US dollar 1.132 down 72,000 points. US dollar Japanese yen 106.53 down 44 cents. And Great Britain pound US dollar 1.4452 down 49,000 points. Looking at commodities. Wheat, 5.12, down 7.5. Soybean, 11.71.75, down 6. Corn, 4.27, down 4.25. Sugar, 19.59, down 2 cents. Coffee, 137.60, down $2.05. Cotton, 65.03, down 35 cents. Rough rice, 11.33, down 20 cents. And cocoa, 3,111, down 2. Live cattle, 118.77, up 5 cents. Lean ox, 86.325, down 70 cents. And FT cattle, 147.00, down 375,000 points. Peter Joe News time, 12:10, and it's down out for a spot report. Red Sox 7-9 off. But the Paul Sox will be squaring off against the Toledo Mud Hens right now at 11 a.m. here at the McCoy Stadium. And currently, in the bottom of the fourth, Paul Sox are leading the Toledo Mud Hens 2-0. And the Pittsburgh Penguins could wrap up the Stanley Cup at home for the first time since the Pittsburgh team won it at the city limits in 1960. Pittsburgh Pirates as they will score against the San Jose Sharks in game number 5 of Stanley Cup Finals. Game time, 8 o'clock. After 2 blood losses in Oakland, it's clear that Cavaliers needed to find a spark as the series moved to Cleveland since Kevin Love was sidelined and concussion and LeBron James seemed unable to dominate in the last year's finals. Pittsburgh has built Kessler done more than Pittsburgh Penguins and Sidney Crosby and Pendleton was playing with run, and as rookie goalie Matt Murray does more than it costs to leave for them. Mary, Louisiana, cornerback Devin Burke made a nice playing the ball during a recent practice session that had been awfully routine right. Nolan Saints can't throw enough to work. General Manager Mike Lomans to purchase him. Peter Channel News time, 12:11 on this Thursday afternoon, and it's time now for Trevor Report. Let's study up down in Rhode Island, where it's looking good tonight with Zimbabwe's Yoshua State, except on 146 on the northbound side. It did so after Route 99 in Lincoln, Rhode Island, 195 on the eastbound side, so after Route 95 in Providence. 1 day on the westbound side, the Newport Bridge is a little slow. Out in the Cape, Route 6 from Samoa to Orleans, train on the northbound side, little slow around Born Watery, train in the southbound side, a little slow around Born Watery. Southbound Expressway at the northbound side, it did so from Quincy all the way to the Boston, Southbound Expressway, southbound side, so the Dorchester Stretch, 120 on the northbound side, it did so from 135 in Needham all the way to Route 9 in Wolseley. 93 on the northbound side, also at Route 120 in Redden. 120 on the southbound side, it did so before Route 20 in Redden. Route 3 on the southbound side, slow around Route 128 in Burlington. Route 2 in the eastbound side, so for Fitchburg, 190 in Leominster. Route 2 in Wharf Ends, a little slow around on stretch. I-91 on the northbound side, a little slow around 57 to 291 in Springfield. Aaron Sherman on the northbound side, a little slow Merrimack stretch. 101 on the westbound side, a little slow Manchester stretch. 295 on the northbound side, a little slow after the Falmouthburg up in Freeport, Maine. I-89 on the southbound side, it's slow after the Canadian border up in Vermont, and I-87 on the southbound side, it's a little slow around Plattsburgh, Vermont, Plattsburgh, New York, and I-87 on the northbound side, a little slow around Plattsburgh, New York. I-87 on the southbound side, it's a little slow around Hammond Pond, down in upstate New York. Highways and byways of Albany are looking good. New York State Freeway and both ends, a little slow around I-81 in Syracuse. And New York State Freeway, it's a little slow around 290 in Buffalo. And 190 out in Niagara Falls, it's slow go. Out in Connecticut, 95 on the northbound side, also after 395 in New London. I-84 on the westbound side, also on I-91 in Hartford. I-84 on the eastbound side, also on Route 8 in Torrington. I-84 on the westbound side, also on Newburgh, New York. Mare Park area on the westbound side, also on Bridgeport Stretch. 95 on the southbound side, it is so for Bridgeport and in Stamford. Long Expressway on the eastbound side, it is slow from New York to Long Island. 278, it's slow both ends on Vernoner's Bridge all the way out to Staten Island. 278 at the eastbound side, so for Brooklyn all the way out to Grand Central Parkway both ends. Belt Parkway on the westbound side, it is so for JFK Airport to Brooklyn. Lincoln and down a little slow, 95 on both ends, a little slow to Buckeye to the New Jersey border via the George Washington Bridge, and 95 on the northbound side, also on 287. 95 on the northbound side, so for Greenwich and Stamford. Alright. Look at MBTA alerts at 12:14. The ferries, they are looking good. Silver Line S4 Express and Martelaise. And Silver Line S5 Express and Martelaise with a stable bus. And on the commuter rail, please board all Worcester Line train to the airport platform was at Westburg Refter Station today, and please put all Worcester Line trains to the platform was at Wesley Farms West State Station today to track work. But can be rails looking good. Peter Chell Doosan, 12:15 p.m. on this Thursday afternoon is time now for a weather report. Currently at 67 degrees with most skies, humidity 41%, 19 about Celsius, wind speed up. What's at 15 gusts of 26 miles an hour, barometer 20 up at 65 inches, super about 42 degrees, and the visibility at 10 miles an hour. Alright, current conditions 64 degrees in Boston, 63 out in Beverly, 62 in Bedford, 63 in Fitchburg, 56 in Worcester, 64 in Norwood, 65 in Taunton, 64 in Bedford, it's 68 in Plymouth, 62 in Provincetown and Falmouth, in 61, Chatham 62, Marshalltown 62, Nantucket 59, 61 in Woonsocket, 63 in Providence, 62 in Buckeye, 61 in Montauk, 63 in Islip, 65 in New York City, 65 in Bridgeport and New Haven, Connecticut, 61 in Denver and Waterbury, Connecticut, 63 out in Meriden, Connecticut, 61 in Hartford and Windsor Locks and Springfield, Massachusetts, 59 in Greenfield, 55 out in North End, 51 in Nat Fall, 51 in Pittsburgh, 58 in Albany and Silver Springs, that's 54 in Bennington, 57 in Lebanon, New Hampshire, and Keenan, Jefferson, New Hampshire, 62 in Nashville, New Hampshire, 58 in Manchester and Concord, New Hampshire, 63 in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, 61 degrees up in Port Maine. Alright, looking at the surface map around the country shows a pink and a cold front stretching off the British Columbia, Washington, and Oregon coast. Cold front stretching from south-central California straight on the way down to Nevada, and a warm front down to Idaho with a low pressure in northeastern Idaho. And a cold front from Montana straight to Saskatchewan. Pink front down to Saskatchewan and eastern portions of Alberta, and a stationary front from Montana down to the Dakotas, and warm front from central South Dakota stretching curving away from southern Minnesota down for Iowa down for western Illinois, and a stationary front from the Gulf of Mexico stretching in north central Florida, and a front by off the eastern portion of Mexico, and a front by from western Nebraska down for Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. High pressure ridges ran Kentucky and around the Four Quarter region. 63 degrees in Detroit, 64 in Pittsburgh, 73 in Washington, D.C., 76 in Atlanta, Georgia, 88 in Miami, Florida, it's 83 in Brownsville, Texas, 84 in New Orleans, 85 in Dallas, 74 in St. Louis, 82 in Kansas City, 85 in Omaha, Nebraska, 67 in Chicago, 71 in Minneapolis, St. Paul, 65 in Great Falls, Montana, 54 in Seattle, Washington, 57 in San Francisco, 63 in Los Angeles, 92 in Las Vegas, 86 in Salt Lake City, Utah, Phoenix, Arizona, 77 degrees in Albuquerque, 79 in El Paso, and 74 in Denver, Colorado. Alright, look at that. Radar around the country. Look at that radar and it shows. A line of rain showers stretching from east to Nova Scotia, stretching to Brunswick and up in northern Maine from Caribou to Halton, and stretching up in eastern Quebec and western portion of Quebec. Petri rain showers are western and southeastern portion of Prince Edward Island. And take a look at radar, and it shows a line of showers and storms from southeast Minnesota down for some western Wisconsin down for Illinois. And a line of rain showers and storms from Florida stretching the Gulf States down for southeastern Texas. Petri rain showers stretching in southwestern portions of Kansas down for western Oklahoma down for northeastern Texas. Line of rain showers stretching around Wyoming and northern portions of Montana. Line of rain showers around Oregon and down southwestern portions of Washington State. Line of rain showers from north central Montana down for southeastern portions of Saskatchewan and down to central Manitoba, and a rain showers around eastern portions of Alberta down for British Columbia. Alright, take a look at satellite picture, and it shows where Let's move it on. The local forecast discussion where strong low pressure. Okay. Strong low pressure over the Maritimes will circulate dry and cooler air. And cooler than normal temperatures as brisk west winds into New England for Friday. A brief warm-up clear Saturday ahead of a cold front that moves for Saturday night, bringing some scattered showers and thunderstorms. A return to cooler weather later Sunday into Monday, along with a risk for a few showers. Dry weather returns next Tuesday and Wednesday, along with a warmer trend, and the spillover the light are anticipated with better mixing over the last couple of hours. Later in the continent, the primary force list should add. Nevertheless, some dissipation faster than earlier forecasts suggested so will continue the trend as short-term guidance seems to be it. Also raise highs by a couple of degrees in feature more low 70s and even for middle level temperature and obviously cool to increase sunshine down so coming in the fall should make up the difference. And for tomorrow, I'm expecting another cool day in tap with high pressure. Currently, now right here in Kentucky, will move up through New York State and put it right here. For tomorrow, will be another cool one in tap. Okay, 7-day forecast goes like this. For the rest of the afternoon, sunny with a higher 0 degrees. Northwest about 50 miles an hour, gusts 28 miles an hour. Tonight, forecast goes about 47 degrees. West about 8 miles an hour. For Friday, forecast goes about 72 degrees. Northwest about 10 to 13 miles an hour. With gusts 23 miles an hour. Friday night, forecast goes about 47 degrees. Calm wind. Saturday, most of about 74 degrees. Calm wind coming to southwest about 6 miles in the afternoon. Sunny at 50 shots, dust with off, possible at 5 a.m. Patch back up to 2 a.m. wise. Most gusts go up 60 degrees. And anticipation 30%. Sunday, punch up for 8 a.m. wise. Most of the forecast come at 0 about 53 degrees. Monday, most of the podcast come at say what about 55 degrees. Tuesday, most of the podcast come at say for about 57 degrees. And for Wednesday, most of the podcast about 77 degrees. Peters, what a phase of the day. A terrific Thursday afternoon in the weather department. And now looking at the satellite, looking at shows. 9 o'clock's coming in from Northern New England up to the Quebec and the Maritimes. Now 9 o'clock's coming from Southeast Minnesota, now Wisconsin, Illinois, now for Indiana, now for Michigan, now for Eastern Iowa. 11 o'clock from Florida to stretch to Louisiana, and another 11 o'clock from California stretch up to Nevada, and up to Utah, and up to Montana, and up to Manitoba, and up to the Canadian Pacific. And 11 o'clock coming from West Washington, Oregon State. And there's the favorites, and that's me from Peter Channel New News on this Thursday, June 9th, 2016. I'm Peter Saber. Good afternoon, goodbye, day to all. See you at 5 o'clock for a 5 o'clock report. Have a good afternoon. See ya, bye.